Welcome to Team Go Against Deck Tech on Arakni Slip Through the Cracks, probably better known as Slippy. Today's list comes from first place of German nationals in the hands of Sebastian Kleine. Slippy is a hero with the ability to give the first stealth attack in a turn to go again at the cost of starting the game at 38 life. This allows for the ability to simultaneously resist wide turns, use reactions to go tall, and bluff everything in between. To understand the power of Slippy's deck, we must first look at the equipment. Flick Knives is easily the most important piece of all. In conjunction with your pair of Hunter's Claves, you can threaten to mark your opponent whenever you please while lowering their life total at the same time. The next important pieces are Mask Partition and Black Tech Whisperers. These pieces of equipment block one and offer a free zero-cost attack reaction on any assassin attack action card. Their additional abilities, while sometimes relevant, are for the most part irrelevant. Finally, Fiendals bring 2 lets you make a resource sometimes, and blocks 1. On to the main deck. Bonds of Agony gives your opponent a midlife crisis as they attempt to figure out how to block it effectively, and an extremely devastating on-hit if they choose wrong. Persuasive Prognosis is like Bonds of Agony, doesn't require anything from you to do something on hit, and gives you some life to make up for your starting life total deficit. But do be careful, because sometimes it will miss and you will only get to view your opponent's hand. Mark of the Black Widow finishes off your disruptive stealth suite with a hand-banishing effect when combined with Flick Knives and Hunter's Clave. Double Trouble, played in both red and blue, and in effect let you pressure your opponent's life total. When it may seem simple to block, your opponent is unlikely to for fear of what may come next. Orb Weaver's Spinneret may seem to just be a static buff, but the dagger it makes allows you another attack reaction to use with Flick Knives. Razor's Edge and Concealed Blade are simple buffs to force through your on-hits. Concealed Blade being a blue also makes it an easy card to include in your pitch stack to finish off your opponent in conjunction with Bonds of Agony in the late game. Tarantula Toxin is one of the most powerful individual cards in your deck. If you get to use both modes on Kiss of Death, it becomes a 1-card 6. It also notably debuffs blocking cards, allowing you to bypass your opponent's biggest tech card, Snag. Take Up the Mantle is the sneakiest attack reaction in the entire deck. Being able to turn any stealth attack into a Bonds of Agony at a moment's notice can help you steal games out of nowhere. Just the Nick is the strongest individual boost in the entire deck from a singular attack reaction, but its greatest power lies in how it makes your opponent overblock your blue attacks for fear of it. Codex of Frailty is one of the best cards in the game. When combined with Leave No Witnesses, you can pressure your opponent's arsenal and get an arsenal card for your next turn to boot. Command and Conquer is here to counter your opponent's arsenal defense reactions. Following up a must-block stealth attack with Command and Conquer can be a tempo-stealing 1-2 punch. Codex of Bloodrot is definitely the weirdest card in this deck, but don't underestimate it. Being able to force your opponent to arsenal a card before you play a Leave No Witnesses or Command and Conquer is just one of the many synergies this card has with the rest of the deck. On to the sideboard. First off, we have our defense reactions in Sink Below and Shelter from the Storm. These are just in the deck to block 4 at reaction speed. Feel free to play Favorites instead of Shelter if you can't afford the $300 for Shelter from the Storm. Undercover Acquisition is a card added to the deck to steal Golden Rub from Gravy Bones, but the damage it can do to Mechanologists, Kasai, and Kano as well is not to be underestimated. Art of Desire Body is a card with an inconsistent effect, but its ceiling is so high that many opponents will be forced to block it anyway. Combining it with Mask of Perdition, it can allow you to draw 2 cards against decks leaning heavy on reds like Sintra as well. Bonds of Attraction is a convenient way to get a bit of life while removing pesky cards from graveyards, whether it be allies from Gravy Bones, Kunai from Sintra, or just that one attack your opponent keeps grabbing Codex of Frailty. This card keeps surprising me with how useful it is. Pain in the Backside is a small but deadly attack with Goga from the matchups where you can't afford to let up the pressure. The on-hit is just annoying enough to get a card from your opponent's hand before any following disruption as well. Clave number 3 and Mark of the Huntsman are hanging out in the inventory to be grabbed by Concealed Blade. Notably, you often should be grabbing Mark first in games that are going along because a late game with Mark is very different from one with a Clave. Crown of Providence is for the matchups of Arsenal Disruption. These are Gravy Bones, other assassins, and guardians. You also play it in a Prism to block Herald of Erudition. Rounding out the deck are Widow Veil Respirator and Widow Web Crawler. These are your Arcane Barrier and Spell Void pieces. Play the Respirator into Runeblade and all wizards, while you can play the Web Crawler only into Kano.